man like Jimmy. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Now I need to apologize first and foremost, I haven't uploaded in a while. Like I said, YouTube is just a little bit of a hobby of mine and I've been really busy, so I'm not going to bore you with the details, but let's get right into the video. So there has been a lot of hate circulating regarding Destiny 2 and the current status of Destiny. And there's a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers included, that have been saying Destiny is dead, I hate Destiny, I'm never coming back here, etc. Now, with regards to that, I think hate is a very strong word to be using regarding a video game. I mean, if you really dislike the game that much, then there's always the option of just not playing it. Simple as that, just don't play the game. There's loads and loads of other games out there that you could play. Now obviously everybody's entitled to your opinion, so I do respect that. But as it stands, I think Destiny does have, or should I say Destiny 2 does have a lot to offer. Now I understand why some people are a little bit frustrated, because we've made so many advancements in Destiny 1 and then we come to Destiny 2 to hopefully see those advancements remain, and then obviously Destiny make more advancements from there on in. But that wasn't the case. What they've kind of done is started with the vanilla game again, and they're going to continue to develop it over time, similar to what happened at Destiny 1. And in light of that, I feel like Destiny does have some major improvements. I mean, the story campaign, it was far from perfect, but it was a whole lot better than we did have in Destiny 1. I mean, I finished Destiny 1 and I was 100% confused as to what I was actually doing in the area, in the arena, in the world, as opposed to what I had done and why I just managed to finish the game and kill some random boss. I was so confused. Destiny 2 storyline has made some major improvements with that. It's kind of like playing a story, to be honest. Well, playing a movie, should I say. I felt engrossed. The cutscenes were far more indicative of what I come to expect from a video game. And with regards to the PvE aspects in terms of the story mode, I think the story mode was fantastic. In addition to that, I feel like we've come a long way with regards to weapons. Now, people who have played Destiny 1 from the beta will know that Destiny has had meta changes and meta mainstays, so to speak. Soros Regime was one meta. The gun was absolutely a beast, clearly overpowered. We had 2-tap Thorn that was just basically broke the game. We had Last Word where it had Lucky Round. We had Hawk Moon that could basically snipe you across the map. We had the Clever Dragon phase where that just basically trumped any other primary weapon. And I think for the most part, Destiny 2 has done a lot to address that. I mean, there are some standout performers that kind of need to be toned down a little bit. Last Hope, Uriel's Gift, for example. But on a whole, I feel it's a lot more balanced. And I think if there was to get a hold of those few weapons that aren't a little bit unbalanced, they would make a lot more improvements in terms of the overall balance of the game. Are there parts of Destiny 2 that need to be addressed? Of course there are. Very few games are perfect. First and foremost, the loot needs to be addressed. I feel like the value of loot has definitely gone down. You can acquire loot from loads of different sources and it doesn't feel unique in any way anymore, especially with things like Trials of the Nine and the Raid. I mean, I've got members of my clan that regularly run it, and it turned out that before I'd even stepped into the Raid, I had 2 Raid weapons. I feel like something like that needs to be addressed, because then it's not valuing the activity. So I started to think to myself, what's the point of me doing it anyway? If my clan can just do it and I can just get the weapon, I'll just use it wherever. I feel like the endgame PvE content definitely needs to be addressed. I mean, heroic strikes could be added to the game like we had in Destiny 1, where they had modifiers to make them unique. Maybe give some strike specific loot as well to address that, so it makes it worthwhile playing strikes. They need to definitely look at the adventures, for example, and the lost sectors. Yes, they were fun, but once you've run them once, the loot in them makes them not necessary to basically revisit. You've done them once, you've seen what they are, they're not even engaging in any way anymore. I feel like in terms of PvP, there's a whole host of things that need to be addressed for PvP. First and foremost, play styles. When I initially played the game, it was like a breath of fresh air because I was so used to the old Destiny meta. I just wanted something different and something new. But after playing it extensively, because PvP is mainly what I play, I realized that there's two ways you can play. A, you play with your team, you run around, you team shot, you're victorious in a sense, and there's a sense of accomplishment. Or you play like B, which is what I tend to play, and you run around as a lone wolf, because you can't communicate with your team, and you realize that you get yourself frustrated because you're on the end of team shots and team plays and running up against stacked teams, which can be really frustrating. And for someone who's not dedicated to Destiny 2, they're just going to jump in and just get really turned off by that. Now, Bungie have always aligned themselves with the notion that they give players options or ways to play the game and enjoy the game how they want to enjoy it. And at the moment, the way that PvP is running, that is definitely not the case. And continuing on from that, the competitive playlist is just reconfirms that. There's no point in playing a competitive playlist, to be honest. The loot isn't specific to that playlist. You're running up against stacked teams. Obviously you need to be playing with a team, but there's no kind of stats to show how well you're doing. It's not ranked in any way. It's just another game mode that excludes the game modes that hide within the quick play system. And I feel like that in itself is a problem. In Destiny 1, for example, we were able to choose what game mode we wanted to engage with, which kind of brings me on to Iron Banner, because the only good thing about Iron Banner this time was the fact that it was only control, so effectively you was picking to play the control playlist. And that's one of the things that I liked about it, because sometimes I jump into Destiny 2's quick play and I don't want to play Supremacy or I don't want to play Clash, I just want to play Control, and I'm forced to do that. And obviously they've reduced the amount of game modes that are there in its entirety anyway, because previously you had Rift, you had Supremacy, you had Clash, you had Control, you had Rumble, which for me I don't really understand what they've taken out, but you had a whole load of options. Now that's just been significantly reduced, and it's affecting the game essentially because you're forced to play these things, so you're not getting that choice or that variety that you were offered previously. So this is where the frustration is breeding. Now, am I worried about the future of Destiny? Definitely not. Now obviously it's been a bit negative. I've highlighted a few things that the game really needs to improve on. I know there are a lot more, but for the sake of this video I'm trying to keep it as brief as possible. But in saying that, Destiny 2 is in a vanilla state, just like Destiny 1 was, which means, and they've already announced this, there's going to be loads more DLC, loads more revisions of the game to retune it and refine it into a game that we can all enjoy like we did at Destiny 1, because Destiny 1, for whatever reason, still maintained a significant number of players with regards to its player base. And I think Destiny 2 will do that with the expansions, with the sandbox changes, with the improvements that are going to be made to the game. And I know Destiny are going to do that. They've already listened to some feedback from the community, and they're already working on ways to improve the game, which is indicative of how Bungie operate. Yes, it may be slow. Yes, it may need to be done in a faster fashion, and maybe they could engage with the community earlier before they finalize their final product. But regardless of all of that, they are listening and they are acting upon our wishes and our comments and our feedback that we're giving them. So in that sense, I'm not worried. Destiny 2 is a game that I'm sure majority of people play because they believe themselves that it will get better, and it has got better before. Just look at the introduction of the Taken King, for example. That kind of like revolutionized Destiny 1, and I feel like the same will happen with Destiny 2. Yes, arguments could be made that the game needs to have done this from the start because it's had literally 3 years of improvement and listening to player feedback, but that hasn't happened. But I'm still confident in the fact that it will happen and we will get improvements. So all the people saying that the game's dead and Destiny's dead and Bungie don't know what they're doing, to those guys I say, listen, you guys aren't game developers, neither am I. I know you're entitled to your opinion and I understand that, but when you start getting personal and you start saying I hate the game the devs that help produce the game are idiots, they don't know what they're doing, etc, etc. I think that's wrong, especially as these are human beings, we're entitled to mistakes, and I feel like that the game on a whole will improve. So obviously if you don't like the game, then don't play it. It's as simple as that. Now ladies and gentlemen, if you did like this content, be sure to like, share, subscribe. And what are your thoughts on Destiny 2 at the moment? Do you think it's a game that's going to improve? Do you think it's on the decline? Have you had enough of Destiny? You've had 3 years of the same stuff? Whatever your thoughts are, get at me in the comment section, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Peace.
He killed the guy in charge and his big scary flight.
The scouts I sent are the best in the militia, and even they were ultimately helpless against this. You Guardians are a blessing. But we have a common goal. Civilians and Guardians can stand side by side.